Hey, I'm Joe and welcome to Fashion Forte. Today I'm going to be giving you a 3-minute rundown of punk culture. So we don't have much time to waste, so let's get into it. So what is punk? Well, punk is a fashion and it's a music genre. It's one of the both and they both influence one another. The fashion itself can be seen in its clothing, its horrible hair and its lip rings and piercing parts of the body that should never really be touched by metal. But where did this all start? Well, I'll tell you. In the late 1960s, proto-punk, which was originally a garage band type genre, was blowing up in the US. The name of this genre of music quickly changed, moving to New York City, where it was dubbed punk in 1974 to 1976. Punk then quickly came to the EU through the United Kingdom. The punk fashion was very greatly influenced by a small shop called Malcolm McLaren's shop, Art Design Cafe. That's the name of a shop apparently. This shop is single-handedly responsible for some of the big punk fashion trends, such as ripped jeans, ripped tights, chains on anything you want on your shirt, on your jeans, on your underwear. But it's not just punk that was greatly influenced by this single shop, this cafe. This is the home to all of the punk's brothers and sisters, such as vampire and goth culture. It all comes from this single shop. It's pretty crazy. I never thought one shop could be so responsible for such onslaught. And we can see this style of music and fashion in so many bands throughout time. But the first official punk band was the Ramones, formed in 1974. But other bands definitely paved the way for the genre. Not exactly being punk, but being something very close. So, unofficial punk. These are bands like the Stooges and MC5. We don't have much time left, so I'm going to have to hit this pause and just tell you one thing. I'm going to do a very fast rundown. But if you're interested in knowing more about the punk genre, we're doing a podcast on Wednesday. So if you want to come around to that, the link is in the description. As soon as it's out, it's going to be down there. So don't worry about that. If you want to watch it, it should be down there right now, because we're not going to be able to cover everything in this video. Unfortunately, it is a 3-minute rundown and I'm running out of time, so I better hit the unpause button. I really got to go. After that legendary band was done, it was time for the most legendary punk band, the Sex Pistols. These guys came along in 1975. The Sex Pistols came out with songs such as Silly Thing, Submission and Problems. Next was a surgence of American hardcore rock. There was many bands in this genre. Bands such as the Misfits, the Black Flags, Bad Brains and the Big Kennedys, Dead Kennedys, Dead Kennedys. Next was a rise of hardcore American punk. These are bands such as the Misfits, the Black Flags, the Dead Kennedys and Bad Brains, I don't know. This is from 1977 to 1979. The 1980s are seen as the death of punk. Pop came along and murdered punk and put it in the boot of its car. But later on, punk got out in the late 1980s to form its new identity, pop punk, which lasted till the end of the 1980s. But once again, punk fell and rose again in the early 2000s by bands like the amazing Green Day. But as always, fizzled out as fast as it arrived, so it didn't last too long. A distant memory for most millennials. And that's all we have time for here on Fashion Forte. As I said, hit us up in our Instagram and the podcast. I hope to see you there.